The smell of cinnamon rolls and coffee drifted through the dining room of Liam's family home in Boston, a cozy brownstone with creaky floors and too many framed photos. It was Easter brunch, my first big holiday with my new husband and his mother, Margaret, after we'd moved in 3 weeks ago. I'm Sophie Hart, 29, and I'd pictured this as a fresh start. Married life, a tight-knit family, maybe even a home of our own someday. But as I set the table, smoothing the pastel napkins, Margaret's voice cut through the chatter like a shard of ice. "Sophie, these eggs are cold already. Can't you do anything right?" Her tone wasn't a question. It was a jab, and my stomach tightened. Liam, my husband of 3 months, sat across from me, his sandy hair tousled, eyes on his plate. He didn't look up, just forked a bite of ham like nothing happened. Margaret, 58, perched at the head of the table, her auburn hair pulled into a tight bun, her sharp brown eyes scanning me over her coffee mug. She'd greeted us with hugs when we arrived. Liam's return after years away seemed to light her up, but the warmth vanished the second she sized me up. "You didn't need to drag her along," I'd heard her mutter that first day, low enough to dodge, sharp enough to sting. I'd smiled through it, chalking it up to adjustment. Now I wasn't so sure. "Everything's fine, Mom," Liam mumbled, barely audible, as he reached for the juice. Margaret's lips pursed, her mug clinking hard against the table. "Fine? She's slow as molasses. This isn't a hotel, Sophie. You live here now. Act like it." I swallowed the lump in my throat, fingers curling around my fork. "I'm trying," I said, voice steady despite the heat creeping up my neck. "It's just brunch. Takes time." She snorted, loud enough to turn heads if anyone else were here. "Time? You've got plenty sitting around all day." Her words landed like a slap, and I bit my tongue. She didn't know I'd spent years honing coding skills from my economics degree, freelancing late into the night, even after quitting my finance job to move here. I'd kept it quiet, Liam's idea, to ease her worries about him leaving again. The brunch dragged on, her critiques piling up like dirty dishes. "The rolls are dry. Did you even need them?" she snapped, crumbs dusting her plate. "I followed the recipe," I said, polite but fraying. "Not well enough," she shot back, smirking as Liam stayed mute. I glanced at him, my college sweetheart, the guy who'd proposed under a Boston oak with promises of happiness, and saw nothing but a blank stare. The unease settled deep, a warning flicker. Living with Margaret was already harder than I'd imagined, and this was just the start. That Easter brunch wasn't just a rough start. It was a preview of the storm brewing in Liam's brownstone. Weeks turned into months, and Margaret's jabs sharpened into a daily grind. I'd wake at dawn to her banging on the bedroom door. "Sophie, get up! The kitchen's a mess!" Even though I'd scrubbed it spotless the night before. Liam lost his job at a tech startup a month after we moved in, laid off in a brutal downsizing, and I didn't blink, just picked up the slack. What Margaret didn't know, what I kept locked tight, was that I'd turned my old economics coding skills into a freelance gig, pulling in $60,000 a month building apps for startups. It paid the bills, hers included, while Liam moped on the couch. She didn't see that, though. To her, I was a leech. "People like you, no job, no purpose. Why are you even here?" she'd snap, her auburn bun bobbing as she hovered over me, folding laundry. I'd grit my teeth, hands trembling, and mutter, "I'm helping out." She'd laugh, cold and cutting. "Helping? You're a burden. Liam should have stayed solo." He'd sit there, silent, scrolling his phone, letting her words sink into me like damp rot. I'd coded my first app in college, a budget tracker that sold for pennies. But years at a finance firm taught me real chops. APIs, databases, clean code. Now, hunched over my laptop at 3 a.m., I was their lifeline, and they were clueless. It got worse. One muggy July morning, I was brewing tea in the kitchen. Margaret's favorite Earl Grey, a peace offering after she'd trashed my dinner the night before. She stormed in, eyes blazing. "You're still here taking up space?" she hissed. "I contribute more than you know," I shot back, tired of the dance. Her face twisted. "Jealousy, maybe," at the idea I wasn't her puppet. "Contribute! You're nothing!" she yelled, snatching the kettle off the stove. Before I could move, she flung the scalding tea at me, hot drops searing my arms. "It burns! Stop!" I screamed, stumbling back, the sting sharp but not blistering. Thank God it had cooled a tick. Pain flared, but shock hit harder. How could she? Margaret froze, kettle clattering to the floor, her smirk flickering into something darker. Satisfaction, not regret. "Lazy trash like you doesn't belong here," she said, voice low, like she'd been itching to snap. I clutched my stinging arms, breath ragged, staring at this woman who'd raised the man I loved. Liam shuffled in, bleary-eyed, and just stood there, pale, useless. "Mom, what?" he started, then stopped, eyes darting away. My anger boiled over, hotter than the tea. I wasn't the jobless one, Liam was, and I'd carried them both. "If you hate me this much," I said, voice shaking but steady, "I'm done." Margaret's lips curled. "Good. Makes my life easier. Get out." I didn't argue. Her glee lit the fuse. She thought she'd won, oblivious that my coding kept her lights on, her gas running. Liam's silence was the last straw. He didn't fight for me, didn't care. I'd hit my limit, and as I stormed upstairs to pack, one thought burned clear. They'd underestimated me, and they'd pay for it. That tea-soaked morning wasn't just a breaking point. It was a wake-up call, loud and scalding. I stood in Liam's childhood bedroom, arms still stinging, shoving clothes into a duffel bag as Margaret's words echoed, "Get out." Fine, I'd go, but not as the broken mess she imagined. The brownstone's walls felt like a cage, every creak a reminder of her venom and Liam's cowardice. I'd carried them, $60,000 a month from freelance coding, apps I'd built from scratch with skills sharpened over years, and they didn't even know. Margaret thought she'd won, smirking downstairs, oblivious that I'd been paying her mortgage, her groceries, her smug little life. I zipped the bag, laptop tucked safe inside, the tool of my quiet empire. Downstairs, Liam slumped on the couch, staring at his phone like it'd save him. "Sophie, you don't have to," he started, voice weak. "Don't!" I cut him off, sharp. "You didn't stop her. You never do." His eyes flicked up, guilty, then dropped. Margaret swept in, kettle still on the counter, her auburn bun tight as her grip on this house. "Leaving so soon?" she taunted, arms crossed. "Smartest thing you've done yet." I met her stare, steady despite the ache. "You'll see how smart I am," I said, low and loaded. Her smirk twitched. Confusion, maybe, but she waved me off. Good riddance. I didn't waste breath explaining. I'd let reality hit her later. Bag slung over my shoulder, I walked out. The Boston summer air thick but freer than that house ever felt. My sister Claire lived 20 minutes away in a cramped Back Bay apartment. Nothing fancy, but safe. She didn't ask questions when I showed up, just hugged me tight and pointed to the spare futon. "Stay as long as you need," she said, her voice a balm after months of barbs. I nodded, throat tight, and crashed. The hum of the city outside a lullaby. Days bled into weeks, and I kept coding. Apps for startups, 60K, rolling in steady. I didn't tell Claire the full scope, didn't want pity or praise. Just worked, rebuilding myself in silence. Liam didn't call, didn't text. His absence allowed nothing. Margaret probably thought I was broke, crawling back to some dead-end job, not bankrolling her world from afar. I'd learned coding in college alongside economics, a side hustle that grew when I quit finance to move here. Late nights debugging, early mornings pitching. It wasn't luck. It was grit. Now it was my shield. One night, Claire caught me at the laptop, lines of code glowing. "You're good at this," she said, peering over. "Better than they know," I replied, smirking. She grinned, but I saw the question in her eyes. Why hide it? I didn't answer, not yet. Margaret's glee at my exit replayed in my head. Her jealousy over Liam's loyalty twisted into every insult she'd thrown. She'd pushed me out, thinking I'd crumble, but I'd been the spine all along. Liam's silence cemented it. He wasn't worth saving either. As I typed, a plan hardened. I'd let them sink, keep my strength close, and when they came crawling, I'd be ready. Not with mercy, but with a door slammed shut. 6 weeks after I walked out, the reckoning hit Claire's apartment like a storm front. It was a muggy August evening, the back bay buzzing outside, when the intercom crackled. "Sophie, it's us! Let us in!" Margaret's voice, shrill and desperate, jolted me from my coding trance. I peeked at the monitor. Her auburn bun sagged. Liam beside her, shoulders slumped, both looking like they'd crawled out of a ditch. My gut twisted, not with pity, but suspicion. I'd stopped paying their bills. Lights, gas, internet, all cut off when my $60,000 monthly lifeline dried up. They'd felt it, and now they were here. I buzzed them in, cool and steady, meeting them in Claire's cramped living room. Margaret barged past, her sharp eyes darting, Liam trailing like a kicked dog. "Sophie, we forgive you. Come back," she said, voice dripping fake sugar. I crossed my arms, leaning against the wall. "Forgive me for what? You threw tea on me, told me to leave." Her smirk flickered, caught off guard. "That was a misunderstanding. I overreacted. We need you home." Liam nodded, pale. "Yeah, Soph, it's rough without you." I laughed, sharp and cold. "Rough because your power's out? I paid for everything. $60,000 a month from coding apps. You didn't know because you didn't care." Margaret's jaw dropped, her bun tilting like her world. "Coding? You?" she sputtered. You thought I was nothing," I cut in, voice steel. "Liam lost his job, laid off months ago. I kept us afloat while he sat around." Liam flinched, eyes down. "I didn't tell her," he mumbled. Margaret whirled on him, furious. "You're unemployed? And you let me blame her?" The room boiled. Margaret's jealousy, Liam's cowardice, my truth. "Why are you really here?" I pressed, stepping closer. Liam sighed. "We can't afford the house. Bills piled up. Your income. It's enough, right?" Margaret nodded, desperate. "Come back, Sophie. We'll be better." I smirked, slow and lethal, pulling divorce papers from my bag. Pre-signed, ready. "Here's my answer," I said, tossing them on the coffee table. "Sign it, Liam. We're done." His face crumpled, hands shaking as he grabbed the papers. "Divorce? Soph, wait. This is too fast." Margaret gaped, then sneered. "You can't. He's your husband." "Was," I corrected, ice cold. "He didn't call, didn't fight for me. You both used me. I'm not your bank." Liam's voice cracked. "I relied on you too much. I'll get a job, I swear." Margaret jumped in, softer now. "I won't snap again. Please, we're family." Their pleas rang hollow, a script flipped too late. I leaned in, unflinching. "You poured tea on me because I wouldn't bow." Liam watched. "I've got my own life now. $60K a month. My rules. Sign it, or I'll lawyer up and take more." Margaret's eyes widened. Fear, not fight. Liam scribbled his name, defeated, muttering, "Don't regret this." I snatched the form, calm. "You will? I'm free." They shuffled out, heads low, no more begging. Claire peeked from the hall, grinning. "Nailed it!" I exhaled, the weight lifting. They'd mocked my shadow. I'd just turned off their lights. Dropping Liam and Margaret was like deleting a buggy app. Glitchy, draining, gone. I was 29, standing firm in Claire's Back Bay apartment, Boston's autumn leaves swirling outside as my divorce finalized. The brownstone's toxic hum faded, replaced by the steady click of my keyboard. $60,000 a month still rolling in from freelance coding, apps I'd built into a quiet empire. I'd perch on Claire's fire escape some nights, city lights pulsing below, and feel it. Freedom, raw and mine. In 3 months, I'd landed bigger clients, startups begging for my clean code, doubling my rates. Margaret and Liam didn't know what hit them, and I didn't care. The sting lingered, though. I'd catch my reflection in my laptop screen, dark hair tied back, hazel eyes sharper now, and see the girl they'd dismissed, the one who'd coded through college late nights to prove herself. My phone buzzed after the split. Tech blogs tagging me. Sophie Hart, the app maverick. Coders DMing praise for my budget app's sleek design. One stuck. A 25-year-old named Mia burned by a dead-end gig. Your story's my push, she wrote. I replied, code your own path, Mia. You've got this. It wasn't just my win anymore. Every line I wrote lit a spark for someone else. I'd turned their scorn into fuel, and it burned steady. Margaret and Liam? Word trickled back. Her brownstone dark, heat off. Liam crashing on friends' couches after half-hearted factory shifts. They'd rejected my exit cash, too proud to take it, and I heard she'd pawned her jewelry to scrape by. Texts came late. Margaret. Sophie, we're struggling. Help us. Liam. I'm sorry, let's talk. I blocked them, no flinch. Regret nudged once, wind howling outside. But then I'd hear her lazy trash and see Liam's blank stare, and it vanished. They'd built their mess. I'd stopped cleaning it. Claire caught me grinning over a client pitch one morning. You're killing it, she said, coffee in hand. They're clueless, I replied, pulling stats. My apps had Voss Enterprises begging for a deal. Guess they miss my nothing now, she laughed. Never needed them. Claire was my rock, no judgment, just space to rebuild. A coder emailed that week, odd, quiet. Saw your rise, Sophie. Family tanked me too. You're my drive. I typed, build it quiet, they'll see. The net wasn't noise. It was proof of what I'd forged from their rubble. The real payoff hit at a tech meetup last month. Packed room, 150 seats, Boston's skyline glowing behind. I stood up front, laptop hot, and laid it out. Their flops, my apps, the split. I didn't need their house. I built my own, I said, voice firm. The crowd cheered, hands loud as a key press. After, a guy approached, 30s, tall, warm eyes. I'm Ethan, he said, an architect with a shy smile. Your grit's unreal. I lost a firm to family too. We talked. Coffee turned into dinners. And I felt it. Ease, no baggage. He didn't push, just built something steady with me. So here I am, 29, richer in ways Margaret never grasped, respected by a world that didn't need her roof. I don't check on them, don't need to. I've got my code, my life, a future I wrote myself. The best part? I proved I didn't need their frame. I reframed it. They'd mocked my blur. I sharpened it, and every day, I wake knowing I'm the shot they missed. That girl they drowned? She's the coder now, and she's not crashing.